everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing.
Story time on me working in the prison, getting pregnant by an inmate. So I'm in Tennessee, and I was on a traveling crew, and they sent me to go work at this prison called South Central. So before I got there, I remember it was this inmate that I had been talking to for about 5 or 6 years now. I knew he was there, but I wanted to make sure he was still there. So I hit him up on Instagram, and I was like, I'm finna come work at South Central. He was like, bro, no, you ain't. I'm like, nah, for real. So I started naming some unit managers that I had talked to, and I told him their names. I was like, I'm not bluffing. Like, I'm really gonna come work there. So he was like, all right, you might be telling the truth. So my first day, I went on the compound. I was in class, but my second day, I had hit the compound because I ain't have to do the full training like everybody else. So when I hit the compound my second day, I ran into him, and we saw each other. So when I got off work, he called me, and he was like, damn, like, you really hear what you on? And when he asked me what I was on, I knew he was going to try to get me to bring in contraband because that was word on the street at other compounds that I brought in contraband. But I told him, I was like, I ain't on that. I know you were getting money. Like, this is not no regular inmate that you see on Love After Lockup, Love During Lockup. It's not no Brewster. Like, he really got money. So I just went ahead and let him know, like, I ain't on that. Like, I make good money. Like, they pay for my hotel in. They got per diem. We get commission, all of that. Like, I get paid good. I ain't on that illegal shit. So he like, it's straight because it's Ramadan. I'm a real Muslim. Woo woo. I can't even sell drugs this month. I'm just chilling. Just make sure I eat good until after Ramadan, and then I'm on your ass. So I was just like, okay, cool. So he eating good. He eating lamb chops, steak, like Texas Roadhouse. He eating hibachi, seafood boils. He eating great every day. He eating great. After he break his fast every day when the sun go down, he was eating good. So I remember one night after he had broke his fast, I had asked him, we was just making conversation. I asked him though, I was like, can we f there at their prison? He was like, hell, like, I was just on the beach. I was like, that shit's not really going on for real. And he was like, no, that shit's going on for real. So my next day, I had ended up going to work, and it was like 2 inmates on the mini yard talking. And I had overheard, they was like, man, that nigga had a mat back there for his bitch. And I was like, me being nosy, I'm like, hold up, because I'm a sergeant, so I need some tea. And I was like, wait, what y'all talking about? And one dude was like, bruh, it's a nigga that just had his gal working here. And where they was having sex at, they had a mat that go on the cell bunk. They had a mat back there where they was f***ing. I was like, so they got that comfortable. And was really having sex back there. And it was like, that shit going on. Like, you don't know where you at? You at South Central. Like, what? So I had thought about it. I'm like, damn, like, we might could do that one day. So me and him, we end up talking some more about it. And he like, making up the dates, the times. He like, look, they ain't gonna be watching us at this time, this date. We gonna be good. Just follow my lead. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little scared. I'm like, I don't know, because I ain't never did this. I done worked in prisons before, and I ain't never had sex with an inmate in prison. Never did nothing like this. So I'm just a little iffy about it. But I'm leading them on, basically. So it gets to the day where we supposed to have sex. And I'm scared. He like, come on, bro. What you doing? Come on. So I go in there and we do. We did it, and it was good as fuck. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, it was so fun doing it because I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing that in a prison for one. And it was just good. Like, his dick was hitting. But, so after that, like that day, I had drove home. Y'all, I ain't playing no music. I ain't answering no phone calls. I ain't do nothing. Like, I was smiling my whole ride home. Even after we did the do, when I went back to work, I was smiling my whole shift. But when I drove home, I was smiling the whole way home. And he asked me, he was like, so how was it? I was like, I ain't gonna lie, like, that in on something. And he was just like, so you want to keep doing it? And I was like, hell, we already done did it once. We might as well keep doing it. And he was like, all right, so we gonna make a schedule. So we end up making a schedule to do it. And so we get a schedule and we start doing the do at least like 2-3 times in a week. So fast forward to one day, I'm real late to work. Like, I'm so late, I shouldn't have even went, but I went. But before I did go, I did stop and get McDonald's. I had got a whole bunch of sausage biscuits. So I stopped and got everybody sausage biscuits, and I had started passing them out. When I made it to visitation to give them their biscuits, I see this and visit with a bitch that's in my close friends. I'm in her close friends, she in my close friends. We supposed to be cool. Mind you, I've been posting about this nigga in my close friends, so I'm knowing she's seen the shit, but she ain't never say shit to me. I don't know why. She just never said nothing. I don't know that they around her. I don't know he know her, nothing. So I'm feeling some type of way because I'm just like, why you ain't tell me? You done told me about every other bitch that I know in the city. I know you know her, and you done told me you talked to such and such, but you didn't tell me about this one, so I'm not hip. And it wasn't even just the fact like that he with her, because I know a hoe ain't ever getting shit, and I'm getting the bitch ain't never getting money, bags, jewelry, none of that. So it wasn't even like that. It was just the fact that I didn't know. So I went to his cell and I was looking for his phone. I did a random cell search because I'm a sergeant. I can do that. I'm trying to look for his phone, contraband, butchers, all of that, because I want to fuck your shit up at this point. I didn't find nothing, but he did have a whole bunch of commissary on the ground. So I was just kicking it, and I had threw a whole bunch of crackers on the ground. Just made it a little messy, nothing too much. So they had called me on the radio, and it was like, you got inmates on your gate coming back from visit. Let them in. So I go to the gate. I let him in. I'm like, how was y'all visit? Here he go. I was straight. It was pretty decent. I had a good little time. And I'm like, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did, bitch. So I'm like, let me holler at you. Come to my office. I'm like, damn, you didn't tell me you talked to this bitch. I ain't know you talked to this broke ass. You hear me? He like, wait, I'm gonna just get all the money that's on her Cashapp, and I'm gonna stop talking to her. I'm like, it's not the point that you talk to her. I don't care that you talk to her, because again, she ain't getting no stuff out of you. I really don't care. But it's just like, you didn't tell me. I'm not hip. You gotta keep me up on one. So he was like, I'm gonna just do that and we're gonna leave it alone. I really didn't care. I was like, it is what it is. Cool. So fast forward to, we still doing the do. So we still kicking it or whatever. And he finally asked me, he like, can we have a baby? And I'm like, I don't really want no baby. I'm cool. Like, how am I have a baby with somebody incarcerated? Like, you ain't even gonna be at the doctor's appointments. And he like, but you gonna be straight financially. You ain't gonna ever have to question me financial wise. I got a strong support system. Mind you, he do. His mama, his daddy, his sisters, they is a real family. They come through. They don't play no games. So I'm still iffy. I'm like, I'm not really digging it. I'm not really feeling having no baby by no inmate. I'm cool. So fast forward, we do start being just in love a little bit more. And I finally just give in. I get baby fever. I'm like, fuck it, I'll go ahead and give you a baby. So I tell him my days of ovulation. I'm telling him every day I'm ovulating. So he know every day that I'm ovulating now. And now we doing the do on every ovulation day. And we doing the do 2 to 3 times in a day. I kid you not. I swear to God, we is. I don't give a fuck. Yep, we was doing the do for real. And we trying to do that. We trying to get a little baby or whatever. So we're doing the do. And
what to do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video, back in the confessional. And yes, we stand lit, big dog, man. Shout out to my everyday people who rock with me every day. Now, she hasn't posted part 3, but if you want to keep up with this story, it's called In Talk Podcast. And a lot of people are suspecting that this may be a fake story, just because how much of a bird brain can you be? But over here bragging about getting bags and getting money and stuff and having a baby by an inmate. Then she uses her authority to go and search his cell and tear up his cell. Like, you're already raping an inmate, and now you're abusing your authority because he has another girlfriend at a jail. You're mad he's cheating on you, but you're doing something totally illegal. But I'm not a person to judge anybody on how they decide to live their life. But what I will say is, you couldn't beat this information out of me, okay? It sounds really stupid. So she hasn't made a part 3 yet. It's been like 4 or 5 days, and I just wanted to get this story out and let me know what y'all think about it in the comment section. But let's carry on.
Y'all see the story today that's going viral about the girl who got pregnant by the inmate. She was a sergeant. at South Central Correctional. Okay, cool. That was the first video that was on my phone when I got on TikTok today. So who else is at South Central Correctional Facility? Braylon. If you're new here, Braylon was my high school sweetheart that I loved dearly. And long story short, he got 40 years on some bullshit, okay? Just hanging around the wrong people wanting to be cool, and they didn't give him a separate trial. They charged all of them together and fried them in Tennessee. So anyways, as I'm listening to the story, she say one word. She say gal. When she says gal, I'm like, are you talking about my little shit? Are you saying you're pregnant about my shit? Because me and Braylon would always go back and forth because I would say girl, say shorty. Gal is so just like gal. Like, I don't like that. I never liked that word. So my antennas went up, right? So I was waiting for the girl to go live. So as soon as she got live, and that's another thing. If you see me in a live, don't say shit. They don't give a fuck if I'm in there. Let me just be a regular nosy bitch, okay? We don't gotta announce it to the world, okay? But anyways, so I go on her live. I'm listening to what she's saying. I'm like, she's like, everyone's like, answer gorgeous, whatever. Which I do like that y'all help me get my questions answered. So I guess I'll take that back a little bit. But anyways, oh, and y'all lie. Y'all said I am somebody's ex. I ain't none of these. Don't ever say that. Don't ever say that. But anyway, so she's like, I think we're talking about two different prisons. I'm talking about the one in Tennessee. No, we're talking about the same exact one. So anyways, I'm asking my little specific questions because I'm trying to figure out, is it Braylon? Because the lore would run deep. Imagine continuance part 10 to the lore. I'm on TikTok one day, and now this girl in here saying how she a sergeant and got pregnant by an inmate, and the inmate happened to be Braylon. Anyways, false alarm, because she ended up, like, when she found out that that's what I was talking about, she looked him up in the TDOC or whatever on her end. She was like, oh my God, you him? How do you him? Oh my God, you really, yeah. I'm not lying. I've been watching you the whole day trying to figure out when you're going to go live so I can see my shit. I'm just kidding. Anyways, so she's on live or whatever, and apparently she's pregnant right now. Like right now. And what really had me so in tune is how she described her inmate that she's pregnant by. She was like, he's smart, he got money, his family got money. Braylon's smart, he got money, the family got money. And that gal word, like when your nigga say it's like says certain words and you're like, that's him, like that's what triggered me. But anyways, so I ended up getting on the live or whatever, and she was like, oh my God, I know him, whatever. And it was just like one of those things where I was like, I know everybody. That's why I was trying to get your attention on my day. But anyways, the story's true. And let me tell you this, right? When you go viral on social media, and this is all I want to tell the girl, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I hope and pray that whatever potential charges could be brought, it's without that time, it's out of that time window, because social media is unstoppable. And you might think, oh, innocent story time, they don't know nothing, da-da-da. But those investigators, when shit goes viral, they will make some shit happen. So just be careful is all I have to say. But at the end of the day, pregnant by an inmate is crazy. But what her defense is, what she says is he got money, the family got money. He put $4,200 in her baby's savings account every month. The baby's not here yet. She's pregnant. But it's still crazy. Because like you were a sergeant. And it's like you were playing a dangerous game. You were willing to risk your freedom for that dick. That's insane. But so she was a sergeant, and she ended up getting with an inmate, and now she's pregnant. And then here's the thing: is in her life she was throwing out, like she'd be like, "Oh, he's out. Oh no, I don't know who my baby daddy is." And like she was throwing out little lies to, I guess, like confuse people. But you can't confuse a bitch like me. Like I hear and can like dissect everything. But apparently she's pregnant by the inmate. The inmate's no longer in jail or whatever, and so now she's telling her story. And she has a podcast that she's about to drop, doing all her little prison stories. And I can't wait because I want to know what my little shit was doing in there. What he was doing. Yeah. But anyways, I put in a note, not to Braylon, but I communicated to somebody to confirm what was going on. Inmates can't like have phones or anything like that, so it wasn't Braylon, but.
So she thought it was her little baby daddy or her boyfriend that she loved from high school. Who, gorgeous doll, of course, y'all know she always on the channel with her stories. But that's crazy. You coming out with these stories. You were a sergeant. You're pregnant now. and that means you recently slept with this inmate. Girl, you could still be caught up on charges like some conspiracy or something. Like you just openly talking about sexual abuse to a prison inmate online. You're pregnant by him now. That means this ain't no statute of limitations on that right now. Up like that, girl. You recently committed a crime and you admitting to it, and you took an oath as an officer. That prison can take that serious.
Did y'all see the story time of the sergeant who got pregnant by an inmate? It was the first thing on my page today. And to be honest, I listened to it and a couple of things caught my attention. The first thing is that she was at South Central Correctional Facility, which is where Braylon is. If you've followed me for a minute and you watched my lawyer, Braylon's my high school sweetheart. So I'm listening, now I'm intrigued, okay? Because who's the inmate? Cool. So apparently what happened is she was a sergeant at a correctional facility and she ended up getting pregnant by an inmate. Okay, cool. Now I'm asking more questions because I want to know. Okay, I shoot me a cute little text to an iPad and I'm like, y'all got a sergeant who was pregnant by a inmate? I get a confirmation, a yes. Mind you, before I got answer to that text message, she did see my actual comment where I was like, Braylon, and she ended up looking him up. She was like, oh my God, him, I know everybody, but it's not him? Okay, we good. Okay, cool, whatever. So at this point, I'm just watching. I'm watching. And y'all know how clout chasers are, okay? So it was this other woman who went live who was acting like she the wife. That's not the wife, okay? That girl just went live and started talking her mouth. That's apparently not the real wife. Okay, cool. We learned that very fast. So then for me, I looked up the statute of limitations because in her life, she said she was still pregnant. She was still within child. So I said, or still with child, my bad. Sorry, I'm talking fast. She said she was still with child. So I said, what's the statute of limitations? 2 years. She said she was currently pregnant right now. I pray to God, even though that it has been confirmed to me that a sergeant or a head officer got pregnant by an inmate, I hope that this story is 2 or 3 years old, because at the end of the day, the story's already told, it's already going viral, it's already being talked about, and at the end of the day, if that girl is really currently pregnant right now on this day, okay, I can tell you she's from Charleston, South Carolina, or South Carolina, because here's the thing, I was telling her, stop answering questions. These questions are federal. Anything that's being said in these videos could be used against you. If anything, when you post your next story time, you need to say that this is for entertainment purposes only, because you're still in your statute of limitations. You're still in that 2 years in the state of Tennessee. The Class E felony that you just committed, 2 years. That's the statute of limitations. That means that if it's not past 2 years, they can open a case against you. So anyways, I ended up getting on her live and I asked her, I'm like, okay, so you're pregnant right now? She says, yes. I hope she was lying to me. I said, and the baby daddy out of jail? She said, no, he's still in jail. I said, I hope she's lying to me. I hope that the timing that she's using, she's telling the story as if it's current, and I hope it's 2 years or more older, because if not, when she goes viral on social media, it makes them want to pick it up, because they make an example out of you. Oh, you thought you were a sergeant, fuck my inmates, and you love that dick, right? You love that dick, right? They're not gonna fuck around. They're not gonna fuck. In Tennessee, and you're black, in Tennessee, Braylon, they wouldn't even give him a separate trial from his co-defendants, because they don't play that shit. They're very, okay? But anyway, so it would have been crazy though. Like imagine, like I get up, the first TikTok video on my platform is of an inmate getting a girl pregnant, and it happened to be Braylon. Oh my God, my life would have been like, oh my God, a sitcom. This is crazy, but it's not him. But at the end of the day, what I want everybody to realize is you have to be able to read between the lines on a story that is pushed into a different era, right? I think this is something that happened over 2 years ago, because what she said, and this is the thing that bothered me, she says she has a criminal justice degree, but then she has a social media lawyer. Threw me off, because, never mind. But, because I'm not a mean girl, and I'm not saying anything negative to her, because she a cool bitch, protection. She cool. But anyways, when she said that, my antennas went up because it's like, but at the end of the day, I think that this is a story time that she is giving that happened years ago. There is truth to it, but if this is something that is actually accurate right now and she is pregnant, you gonna get a case, baby. You get a case. Someone came up on your life and said, where are you from? What other prisons have you worked for? And you just answering the questions like you don't give a fuck. The one thing about social media is undefeated and social media is evil. Someone will report you. Someone is good. They're already talking about this. I know there was a conference about this. Hold on. She said she worked there. If you do not think that a meeting was called for the South Central Correction officers and their big dog, whoever their big dog is right now, to say, is there any truth to this story? Because she was like, well, I didn't give any names. It doesn't matter. You came online and you gave a prison name. And then my thing is that she confirmed that she worked at that prison because she was like, oh, you know him, talking about Braylon. So I'm like, damn, like, is she realizing what she's doing? I hope she's lying. But long story short, apparently she's pregnant right now. We don't know what she's having. We don't know how far along she is, but we do know that her statute of limitations is 2 years. And if she's pregnant right now, it takes 9 months to make a baby. You're still within that window of picking up a Class E felony and those charges.
So, yep. That was just gorgeous, dog. Just confirming what I already said, that it don't even seem like the statute of limitations will be up on somebody telling that. So it could be a story that is being told as if it's present day, but it's probably a lie. It's probably done before. Because you come up with a whole podcast just to talk about the things that you did as a sergeant in a prison. There are good stories that you can tell from being in prison, but there are only so many stories that you can actually tell. Every day was like a movie, but I'd be lying if I said I remember every crazy situation that happened. But like in conversation with people, I remember crazy situations happening and being like, oh, I forgot about that story. Like but it's been so long. It's been almost 20 years since I was in prison. So just knowing like that, just remembering those stories is hard for me to even remember any of them. Or I might have like timelines mixed up because like it was so much that went on from in the county jail to even being in prison. So, but there's a lot of stories I have. I've told a lot of stories. If you watch some of the beginning, my first videos, like when I first started, I used to sit in my garage and tell like prison stories about like crazy stuff that used to happen, like talking to murderers, people who kidnapped people, and one of my cellmates blew his face off, killed his wife and blew his face off. Another guy, he was crazy. He tried to attack me. His girlfriend is like a shot caller in the white supremacist prison system, and what he's in prison for life for is, I think he cut up his lawyer or a district attorney and put them in barrels and spread them out throughout Oklahoma. And then him and his son, one of his sons came into the prison or into the county jail where I was at and was sleeping with the transgender inmate that was in there. And it's just a lot of stuff. Like there's so much stuff that goes on in jail. It's just like it's too many stories to even remember. So if somebody remembers all those stories, like you had to be writing down these stories as you was going along. Like you was just like, I'm gonna just take a diary of everything that happens, and when I get out, I'm gonna just tell these stories because it's something that's going on every day. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section.